Lisa really be scared here?
Johnny,
You're still afraid.
stop it now, I mean it.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're ignorant.
They're coming for you, Barbara.
Stop it. You're acting like a child.
They're coming for you. Look, there comes one of them now.
Okay, cool. We're good. Here we go. Cool. OBS is running. We are live. Okay, cool. Hey, howdy, everybody. We are back with another live stream. It's going to be kind of a short one. I just wanted to sort of cover all this stuff that's been happening. It's been going around. Now, Mick has made me aware of this, and so I kind of wanted to talk a bit about it on stream and just sort of, read into this, see if it's worth maybe making a video on. We'll see. So, from what I've read so far about a lot of this, this is drama around a Godzilla Roblox game that has been made by supposed fans, and this is an 86-page document. This is how long it is. It's insane. There's a lot to go through. We're not going to go through every little detail in here because there's a lot of petty stuff, which I will talk about. But as of right now, it's not Kaiju Universe. It's Kaiju Revolution, which, from what I could tell, it's supposed to be like a Kaiju Universe knockoff ever since from my understanding, Kaiju Universe got a DMCA thing from Toho saying that Kaiju Universe is no longer allowed to use any Godzilla IPs. And so Kaiju Universe was the biggest Godzilla Roblox game from my understanding, and now Kaiju Revolution is sort of trying to fill that hole. So, however, they have been exposed for child labor, lies and abuse, manipulation, and a bunch of other accusations that I want to go over. So, yeah, this is the doc. Now, this doc was written by a bunch of people who were involved with development on Kaiju Revolution, and it's bonkers. So it kind of goes case by case. We're going to sort of skim through every single case just to kind of get the bare bones information down. And there's a lot of the sources are here. So one thing I'm not a big fan of is they'll throw in quotes here. So a good example of this would be good faith money is in quotes. Or here's their, in front of a public audience, Concord stated, quote. And I wish that they would have formatted the doc so that it actually included that there, have these specific Discord things, actually there in the document where they're supposed to be rather than at the end. But yeah, so that's sort of my biggest gripe with the doc as is, just presenting it outright. Now, the first case is about Kaiza Ghidorah. They are a YouTube channel or content creator, a little bit bigger than me with about 50,000 subs, and they were mainly involved with the early development in the game. And that I'll just read it instead of trying to summarize it. So Kaiza was a central figure in the game's early development, coordinating tasks, managing community expectations, and even paying developers out of his own pocket, demonstrating a clear personal and financial investment in the project. However, despite this commitment, Kaiza was abruptly removed from the team. Screenshots confirm that the owner of Kaiju Revolution, or KR as it's abbreviated here, promised Kaiza reimbursement for his contributions, seemingly acknowledging the weight of his efforts. But this story takes a sharp turn when Kaiza later spoke with Concord Legacy, the co-owner of the game, in direct contradiction to the previous promise. Concord flatly denied that reimbursement was ever agreed upon. The consistency not only exposes dysfunction within the leadership team, but raises serious questions about how contributors, especially those who help carry the game in its early stages, are treated behind the scenes. Now, Kaiza Ghidorah was essentially offered 170,000 Robux, which... shoot. Let me do this really quick. 1 second. Yeah, we'll go face cam only. Give me a second here. So I want to figure out how much that is in like USD, because it could be like, what's that one currency where like a billion is like $1? Let me just look up this calculator here. Give me a second. We'll get to the child labor stuff. All right, so it's 170,000. All right, now let's bring it back. So that's about $595 American. That's how much they were promised. They were never given that. In a conversation dated a month later, a mediator named Duke confirmed he had met with Ancient, the other owner of Kaiju Revolution. Duke relayed that Ancient still intended to pay Kaiza, but only when he was ready. What followed was a pattern, and all too common in amateur or disorganized development circles: silence. And long story short, he was not paid. They were said that he would be, and then behind the scenes they would say, nope, you lied. You know, you have nothing to do with this project. We're not going to pay you anything. And they still have not reimbursed him. That's that. So this person put all this time and effort into it, was not paid for their work. Yeah, that's unpaid labor, straight up. Yeah, about $600. Yeah, $595 is what this thing says here. Okay, case 2. Now this one was really bizarre. So there's someone involved here who was 14 years old that was working on this project. And they were in the Discord server. They were publicly shamed for using a series of extreme accusations, many of which were either wildly exaggerated or outright misrepresented. The individual in question was Mayura, a young contributor who was only 14 years old at the time of the so-called incidents. And the allegations used to justify his removal were use of a racial slur in a private setting with friends, making a comment interpreted as promoting zoophilia, and jokes mischaracterized as referencing human trafficking. However, upon actually giving context to all this, they seem to be just jokes, and that there wasn't really any malice. Now, to me, it's kind of like, look, I'm cool with joking around with friends. I don't really care. However, I don't know if this was actually in the Discord server or if it was with friends. A lot of the sort of evidence that they include... Mech, you're the reason that this stream is happening, by the way. I fell down the rabbit hole that you sent me down, because this is insane. Just the baby car. Wonderful. So... yeah, so here it is. So they used the N-word a few times. Never in public. It was just in a private server, which, okay, you still said it. As for incest and pedophilia, I had expressed my own condemnation of lolicon culture some time ago on the server. Even though I was firmly against it, they somehow took a message of mine and interpreted it as joking about it. Oh, trust me, I've read everything. This is sort of just going through the shit show that is this. I'm unsure of who was the one that propagated that in the first place, but most of the quote-unquote evidence stems from satire messages I had sent in a friend server. Even then, they had misinterpreted it as I believe I was making a comment on Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate is, of course, a known sexual trafficker, whatever, freak, loser. But this is just weird to include this, and I'm not too sure why. Apparently, this person, Mayura, had, like, expressed dissent towards the way that they were running things, and so they went back and they were like, okay, they removed them for that very reason. If you're confused about what's going on, you can just rewind the stream, just because it's at this point we're already 7 pages in, and I do not want to go back. So in general, they say the case of Mayura reflects a larger pattern, one where Kaiju Revolution's leadership appears more focused on erasing dissent and silencing controversy than on transparency or fairness. So I don't know. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that, because it's like if you have someone that's working on your team, right, and they're saying stuff that isn't exactly good, or if it were to get out, it would look bad on, you know, the company's part, it's completely justified in removing them. I disagree with this. I mean, sure, was a lot of it taken out of context? Maybe. I don't know. The problem is most of the evidence that's presented here is just sort of like, oh, this is just, you know, it's them giving their side rather than actually showing any specific evidence, the exact chats that were given. Instead, all we're given is just sort of this person saying, hey, I mean, come on, I didn't really do anything wrong. I was just joking around. And again, maybe that could be valid, but I'm just saying we don't really get any specific evidence of that besides maybe this, and it just looks like it's an argument about Lolicon. So I don't... Here's the zoo file stuff. So let's see here. And by the way, if anyone is sort of like wondering why someone said courtroom, I definitely do want to treat this as if everyone involved has to sort of prove themselves and prove the other side's guilt. So let's just see here. This person says, this is the same person again. I'm genuinely furious. I don't even care about getting back into the server, but these baseless accusations that have been put against my name are something I don't want. This will be the last time I ever interact with you or anyone in the Obsidian Games community. You all have taken too much time from me, and I want you to know how much you've hurt me. But before I leave, I'd like to address these quote-unquote accusations held against me. I've never joked about sex trafficking. I may have jokingly mentioned sex a few times in TUC. I don't know what TUC is, but I'm assuming it's like a private kind of server thing. And most of it's them just sort of like saying, look, I didn't do any of this, and, you know, condemning them for even assuming that. Now, I wish that they would just give more context here. Okay, so here we go. The context here is that my friend Monarch here had created a horse facility in Minecraft, which he jokingly referred to as the horse sex dungeon. I jokingly reminded him of it. The people at Obsidian Games took this one message and said it was a zoophilic comment. So, I mean, here's the thing, right? Obviously, again, they're saying it's an inside joke. I'm sure that's completely valid. However, when you're in a professional setting, this is Discord, but, you know, when you're in this sort of setting, you really shouldn't be doing stuff like that, even though it is Discord, and, like, your username is Starscream, and the other dude is Master Chief. Like, you still... I mean, unless this was just something that actually like happened, or sorry, unless this is like really taken out of context, I don't know, but it's just so bizarre that this is even included, because not a lot of this is archived, and even they don't have the screenshots, so that neither exonerates them or even like proves their guilt. It just sort of is like, I don't know why this was included here. I mean, they say it's for weaponizing out of context accusations, but I genuinely don't know why they felt the need to include this. It just sort of seems like this person made a bunch of out-of-pocket jokes and then was let go for it because that looks bad in terms of just optics. So I don't know. This seems completely justified. Okay, we'll put it this way, right? I have multiple editors that work on this channel for me. I have co-writers that help me out with doing research and whatnot. If one of my editors was in a Firewood Media Discord server, which we don't actually have one, we talk independently, but regardless, if that was a thing, and I had someone like this that was joking about stuff like this in the Firewood Media group chat type stuff, I wouldn't stand for that. You know what I mean? Like, it's very, like, I don't understand why this is so bad. It seems completely justifiable to let someone go if they're making jokes like this, and it makes other people in the server feel uncomfortable or whatever, especially if it's supposed to be an environment that is professional, you know? So, but I don't know. I think they're just out-of-pocket jokes. I don't think it's anything too serious. I mean, the N-word's kind of sus. It is sus, but yeah. I don't know. Weird. Next case. This is Allister. Manufactured accusations. Here we go. The Kaiju Revolution staff purge continued with another wrongful dismissal, this time targeting Allister the Wendigo, a contributing team member accused of stalking a fellow moderator's social media account. But once again, the facts show a narrative built not on truth but on grudges and distortion. Allister describes the situation as being, quote, I was accused of stalking the social media account of another mod. Who exactly made these accusations? It was more or less likely a person who goes by Ace. They basically hated me, I would say. Reason being that I overdid some jokes in a private server with a group of friends. You, question mark, question mark, question mark, were in there for a bit, if you recall. That alone points to a personal grudge rather than objective misconduct. But the situation escalated further when a suspicious Instagram account, one that appeared to be a renamed alternate account, followed the user Ace. The implication was clear. Allister was still watching or harassing from a hidden profile. But here's where the smear falls apart. Allister recorded and submitted video evidence proving that he has no Instagram alts, only his main account. The footage clearly shows no secondary profiles, no alternate logins, and no link to the suspicious account. Despite this, the rumor was used to isolate and damage his reputation inside the community. And again, this is where this doc is not structured well, so I have to go back here, and now I gotta search for it to see where this evidence is. So that's the Kaiser Ghidorah stuff. We gotta go all the way down here. Still this stuff. So we gotta keep going. Okay. Where's the evidence? This is still the Kaiser Ghidorah stuff. So this is so bizarre. Is it down here? No. Final reference, maybe? No. I'm not seeing it. So does this just not exist? That is so bizarre. So here's again another main issue with this is that they're saying all this stuff. They have this so-called video evidence. I don't see it here in the doc. Maybe they're still working on adding stuff in, but I don't know. I'm not going to just go off of oh, I said so you have to believe it. It's in the doc, so that means that's fact. I don't know. This to me just seems like it's someone involved that was acting weird, and they were let go. Again, just like this person up here, the Mayura. So again, case 2 and case 3, I really don't see the problem. It's a person that was allegedly acting bizarre, and no evidence was given to prove otherwise, so I don't know. This is yet another evidence will surface type meme from that man in the suit stream that I did a while back. That's so bizarre. Okay, mid-doc highlight. I love how it says midway through, and we're 9 pages in of 86. Mid-doc highlight, Obi and his lies. At a point in the project's history, another piece of evidence emerged that brings the Toho licensing controversy into sharper focus. In a private Discord DM exchange with Kaiser Ghidorah, former Kaiju Revolution owner Obi made a bold and direct claim. We have a license and have been talking with Toho since 2021. So this I am reasonably aware of because I've read through a lot of this, and this is the big thing that I paid attention to. Apparently they were licensed by Toho, which is crazy for a Roblox game, right? However, no evidence is given. This wasn't vague, theoretical, or hedged. Obi presented the existence of a Toho license as an established fact. When asked for proof, all they said was, the game release will be proof. Also, to me, a lot of this reads like ChatGPT type stuff. That's not proof, that's deflection. ChatGPT will very often do that, where they'll say, it's not blank, it's why. Or it'll say, it's throughout this whole document, I've noticed. This wasn't vague, theoretical, or hedged. It's bizarre. So, long story short is the devs lied about this game being licensed by Toho, and that's that, which I guess you could say is bad. I don't know if... Because the thing is beyond this document, I've never heard of this game before. So, I have no clue. If there was a real agreement put in place for Toho to actually license this, then Toho would have announced it. We would have seen it on the Godzilla Twitter page and on their Facebook and Instagram, but we never saw anything about this game. Like when that licensing agreement is made, normally that's when that would be announced by Toho. So super bizarre. Perhaps the most dangerous claim. So again, they're just repeating here that saying that they spoke to Toho regularly, which is really funny. I'm just imagining someone pretending to be Toho and this dude just believing it. But so yeah, they're not actually working with Toho. And then here the doc explains how it works with press releases, websites, all that stuff. And none of this, there's no ties to Kaiju Revolution or Solaria Interactive or Obsidian, which is their old name, I suppose. Which is funny because the guys that made, I think it was Elder Scrolls 4. That was Obsidian too? Maybe it was Obsidian. Anyways. Yeah, so complete lie here from the developers. So already, right? I'm just like, we're what? We're 13 pages in. And it's clear that both sides here are just completely wrong with a lot of things. And that it's not exactly cut and dry. It isn't black and white. That both sides here are just really lame. And they're lying about a lot of stuff. All right, it says case 4, and then it says case 5. So, okay. Kaiju Revolution's leadership claimed it had formed a partnership with another Kaiju theme Roblox game, Titan Genesis. The announcement framed it as a friendly collaboration, but the narrative is entirely false. Behind the scenes, no partnership existed. A contract obtained from the original developers of Titan Genesis, Void, and his co-owner revealed the truth. Blank and Redacted are giving full rights of Titan Genesis to Curve and Sincere. What are these names, dude? Void and Curve and Sincere and Concord. I know that they're like usernames, but come on. Is no one here named like Frank? Like, can we just have like a real name? So 30,000 Robux. I'm guessing that's like what, like $1,000, as said in 3.1 of the contract. It includes all code, models, animations, scripts, and any and all assets associated with Titan Genesis. This was a complete asset buyout. Every aspect of the game, the code base, animations, scripts, models was sold outright. The acting lead of Kaiju Revolution at the time, there was no shared ownership, no ongoing collaboration, and no joint creative control. I don't see the issue with this. They bought them out. I mean, a buyout is a partnership, I would argue. You know, if you're selling your company or you're selling your game to someone, that is a partnership. That's how purchase is involved. You're entering a transactional partnership. I really don't see how that's that bad of a thing. So they just reskinned Titan Genesis, repackaged and sold it under the KR name. That's typical for a lot of games. Like, it really is. Deceptive marketing, exploitation of small dev teams with lowball offers. Well, you can't say that, though, if it's a lowball offer, because they consented to selling it. It's literally the meme where it's like the two people and they're like, I consent, and then like in the other side of the room it's someone else going like, well, I don't. And that's what this is. Kaiju Revolution and Titan Genesis both mutually agreed they would sell Titan Genesis to Kaiju Revolution, and that's it. I don't see how this is a controversy in any way. It's someone buying a game and then repurposing it for themselves. That's completely legal and something that they're totally allowed to do. Now, this was, I'd say for the most part, this first half has been sort of like whatever. A lot of grasping at straws. The big one I'd say is this one, the Kaiser Ghidorah. Dude definitely deserves to get paid. There's evidence listed multiple times that this dude was screwed over. It's all here, the baby car. But, you know, like, it's all here with all the work that went into it. So, that's valid. This isn't. This is just, this person was acting bizarre, we fired them. This person was acting bizarre, we fired them. This is the development team lying about having a license with Toho, which, that's wrong, especially if they're marketing it that way. But that's more asking for a lawsuit from Toho than anything. However, this is also just bizarre as well. Like, this is grasping at straws here for, oh, you guys bought this game and then rebranded it? Okay. Now, here's where it gets weird. This is the actual controversy. Exploiting minors through invalid contracts. This is where the child labor happened. In a recent development, Titan Genesis, a game project started by two minors known as Void and Cabinet. Again, these names, dude, Void and Cabinet. Anyways, officially voided its contract with Kaiju Revolution and revoked their permission to use their assets in any form, including in their public testing experience. So that's where it gets interesting then. Okay. So they apparently bought it, and then the people involved pulled back. Despite this clear withdrawal, Ancient, the owner of Solaria Interactive, retaliated with false legal intimidation. They claimed the contract was unvoidable due to being co-signed by a parent or guardian, asserting it to be legally binding. However, this is a misrepresentation of contract law involving minors. In most jurisdictions, contracts with minors are only considered binding if they involve necessities, food and housing. I don't know about that. I'd say it goes state by state for sure, especially now with a lot of child labor laws changing under this new administration here in America. I'd say that I wouldn't say that in most jurisdictions, but that's just me. Creative work such as game assets does not fall into that category. Therefore, even with a co-signature, they retain the legal right to void the agreement. After being formally notified by Void and Cabinet, and again, dude, these names. Anyways. So, the Kaiju Revolution guys saying they're going to take it to court. And then, basically it's a contractual dispute, and they finally have evidence, thank God, that's, under this. So it's true that minors can usually void a contract, but when a parent and legal guardian co-signs, the contract becomes binding just like any other contract. That's why both your parents signed their agreement. The contract is now not voidable. So this seems like a lot of legal stuff that I do not know at the top of my head right now. I'm not going to pretend I do. But yeah, I mean, it's at most, it's what? It's like $1,000 worth of stuff. I don't see... Frankly, if I can make a Roblox game and sell it for $1,000, I'd be a happy camper. Let me just read chat really quick. Mitchell Pape says, or no, sorry, I thought you said what's up, but still, what's up, man? Are you going to do a Q&A after this? Maybe. I've been having back problems lately, so I want to kind of not be streaming as much, and I want to kind of lay down after this. But, anyways, have I seen Jurassic World Rebirth? Not really. It didn't really intrigue me. I saw the trailers and I was just like, yeah, no, not my thing. I don't know. I saw Superman twice. I was going to go see Weapons last night. I bought the tickets, but my back just was completely out. I was on the floor. That was the only comfortable position. So, yeah, so I wasn't able to go last night and see it. I got a refund, so I might go see it maybe this weekend if my back's feeling better, but Weapons I'm talking about, not Jurassic World. All right, case 5. Now, chiropractors, I don't trust chiropractors. I used to go to one. I'm good. I'd rather just go see a real doctor. Case 5, rehirement of Obi. Now, Obi is someone that was involved. They were the original owner. He left, or they left. I don't actually know who this person actually is. They left, and then they were brought back. And there's a 4-hour-long documentary about all this. Oh my God, another Google Doc. Oh my God. Are we serious? How long is it? 169 pages. Oh my God. $169 pages. This is insane. I did not see this. This is my first time seeing this. Now, this seems to be more of this. Dude, I swear to God, if I read this then, and then there's another Google Drive, and I just end up in like a rabbit hole of endless Google Drives, I'm going to lose my mind. No, literally, it is mitosis via Google Docs. Like, holy crap. Okay. We'll skim it. But this person is saying that this Obi fella is a racist and that they've said the N-word before. Let's see. So this is them. Dude, this is crazy. Alright, this is where we get weird, though. Again, this is over Roblox, and we're, like, actually showing IRL pictures of people. So weird. But apparently this guy's a racist. Throws the M-word around like crazy. And it seems like a lot of the information here appears to be... Yeah, I think a lot of this is just what we've already seen. And apparently there's beef with them with Kaiju Universe. Dude, this is nuts. 169 pages for a Godzilla Roblox game. Alright, I'm going to get out of this. Otherwise, I feel like we're going to just keep going through an endless cycle. Oh, here we go. Is this information now from... Or is this... What is this? Okay. Obi tampered. And then... So this must be the thing from Toho against Kaiju Universe. This is, by the way, an actual good Google Doc. You're right, Incon one, because this is like... They actually have evidence here, and this is so much easier to go through. Because they actually show like who's involved. They set everything up. This just seems like a bunch of people worked on it, and then threw shit at the wall and tried to figure out what's stuck. But this actually, I don't want to say 169 pages is well structured, but this actually goes through it. So here we actually see the contract now, and we can see that yes, minors don't have the capability. However, I don't know because the parents signed, so that's where it's a bit sus, but this is such an insane rabbit hole, though. So, from my understanding, this Obi guy is like he's the main person involved with Kaiju Revolution, and then he also worked on other games here. It looks like Ancient World and SCP Requiem. However, he's doing the thing that all creatives do, where they work on a project and then they work on other stuff that they really shouldn't be working on because they should be focusing on other stuff. Totally relatable. I have so many videos I need to get out, but I'm working on my Injustice video that has no set deadline. I mean, the models look good, though. I'm not going to lie. Like, a lot of this stuff looks really cool. But, yeah, so this Obi guy just seems to be, like, a complete racist based on all this stuff that I've been seeing. Talented modeler, I will say, but not a good person. Here we go. Here's all the stuff that they've done. DDoS and doxing. That's wonderful. Yeah, I know that Obi left. I'm trying to piece all this together because I opened up a Google Doc and now there's another Google Doc, and at this point I'm waiting for there to be a third Google Doc. Yeah, I think they're trying to have everything like Pacific Rim, Gamera. I think it was supposed to be one of those type of things. This is nutty. So he did end up leaving, though, from my understanding. Basically saying that he committed social mental abuse, infidelity, racism, violation of Toho TOS, illegal funding of a game, and hiring minors. The list goes on, but I don't think anyone needs an explanation to all this if you've read the entire thing, which this is a solid doc, I will say, compared to some of the other sloth I've had to go through. So, yeah, definitely read this for yourself. I highly recommend because it's a lot if you really want all the nitty-gritty details. But, yeah, this person... Yeah, you're right. This person just seems like the average Discord user. Totally. Anyways, let's try to stay focused here. So we already talked about this. The termination template. Mass firings with a copy-paste excuse. Alright, before the rebrand and PR sweep that transformed Kaiju Revolution's dev team into a new Solaria or Obsidian Games, a sweeping purge of staff quietly took place. Several developers, including myself, were abruptly let go. And now that right here, including myself, just kind of seems like this whole thing is made out of spite because they were let go. Obviously, there were some sus things happening with minors being hired and whatnot. But still, you don't say this stuff. Don't say including myself. Just say several developers were abruptly let go. No warning, no feedback. Just a cookie-cutter termination letter that read, "We regret to inform you that your contract with Obsidian Games development is hereby terminated, effective immediately. Reason for termination: Unfortunately, there are currently no active projects available that align with your position. We appreciate the contributions." This is a completely normal thing. If you've ever been let go from a company, this is completely normal. This is standard. I have a degree in HR. Straight up, I do. This is completely fine. This is not illegal or unethical in any way imaginable. This is normal. If I got this, I wouldn't be pressed at all. I mean, I'd be upset that I lost my job, but that's still a termination letter. What's up, Goji guy? What's going on, man? But yeah, I this is not that big of an issue. Anyways, word for word was sent to every developer who was fired during this wave. Again, that's just a layoff. That's just how this stuff works. I disagree with a lot of this. This just seems like they were upset that they were terminated, but it's like, this is, I don't know. Yeah, here's all the evidence that they're just sending it, but I don't see a problem with this. I don't know. To me, my interpretation of this is that there were some bad things that happened, obviously, like the child labor, like them lying about having the Toho license, like them not paying Kaiser Ghidorah, right? That stuff is all bad, obviously. And that looks terrible for the people that were involved with this. I completely think that. I really do. But then you have other stuff like Case 2, Case 3, that are just, they're nothing burgers. That's the only way to really describe it. This highlight here that ultimately was covered more in this Google Doc I found to be pretty interesting. But yeah, I don't know. It's sort of a mixed bag of everyone involved. Seems kind of garbage. Case 8, let's see here. This person was a close friend and a developer for Obsidian Games. They were removed. They were removed not because of poor performance, but because of unprofessional behavior or any kind of wrongdoing. They were told explicitly that they'd done nothing wrong. It didn't matter. They're letting them go, saying that they're slandering the company. You have not done anything wrong, but at the moment we cannot work with anyone associated. Now this is kind of bizarre because it's someone who hasn't done anything wrong, but yet they're associated with people who are slandering the company. I mean, I kind of get it. I get wanting to get rid of them. And see, stuff like this. They had created a mock expose document to test Obi's trustworthiness, and he failed that test by leaking everything I had shared. What are we doing? This is like high school stuff. Like, it's middle school stuff. Like, oh, I'm going to make this mock expose to, like, expose. It's so bizarre. It keeps going, of course. Concord is another, like, one of the developers, and they're acting childish. Yeah. So that's ridiculous, to say the least. And a lot of this is just so weird. It's like it's clearly hurt feelings. And I'm not trying to be mean, but it might be me, but his head doesn't seem right. Maybe it's the texture or something. There was over 100 photos taken and used to model. It is modeled to how the movie is. Cry about it. Okay, I think the head looks too plastic. I mean, again, it's like, I don't know. As a professional, no. But it's to me, this just sort of seems like the people involved were upset they were let go, so they made this expose doc. There are valid points, for sure, but for the most part, it's such a nothing burger. But it's also so weird how never ending this whole thing feels, where there's like a Google Doc on top of a Google Doc. You know what I mean? Now this is where it's interesting here. So here's where it gets interesting. Final case, suspected culprit. The shadow takedown when Toho might not have been Toho. The last case is harder to confirm, which already red flag. But it's the one that leaves the deepest discomfort, not because it's the loudest or most public scandal, but because if it's true, it reveals a level of manipulation that goes far beyond personal drama or bad leadership. It touches on deception at a legal level. There's been growing speculation that some of the Roblox kaiju game takedowns, the ones everyone believed were from Toho, might not have come from Toho at all. Instead, evidence points to someone inside Kaiju Revolution, possibly Ancient, orchestrating these removals under the false identity of Toho itself. I believe someone said this in chat, actually. Yeah, Ultimate Gigantic Zilla, you mentioned this. So here's a private DM from Ancient to Kaiser Ghidorah, who was the project manager of KR at the time, contains a direct and serious statement. I got those games taken down, Kaiser. Keep it to yourself. That wasn't said in a joking or sarcastic context. It came during a serious discussion about competing kaiju projects. And Kaiser, who had no reason to invent or exaggerate this, has held on to that message as a quiet red flag ever since. I'm just kind of skimming here. Second, in one of the official Roblox DMCA emails sent to a removed kaiju game, the request is credited to Toho Real Studio, a name Toho has never used. That phrasing alone raises serious doubts. A company like Toho doesn't make up throwaway aliases. They file takedowns professionally, with legal teams, proper documentation, and exact corporate names. They follow procedure, not improvisation. If this had truly been Toho acting against IP violations, we would have seen their real company name, their proper licensing department, and follow-ups via official legal routes, not inconsistently named studios using suspicious aliases. Now that is true, but I will say this. There are companies out there that use sort of like proxies to send out copyright claims, especially on YouTube. A big one is UMG, or Universal Music Group. They will frequently, if you have a movie, like you make a video that has movie clips from Universal in it, you're going to get a claim from someone that doesn't necessarily look like Universal at first. You look into them, and they're a firm that goes out and copyright claims stuff like this. So it's possible it's someone like that. A lot of the time too, they're outsourced to countries where English is a second language. So most of the time too, like studios will be used improperly. It's bizarre, but that's just how it is. So again, I know even they said this themselves, that it's hard to confirm this. So we'll take this with a grain of salt. But I will say this, it's entirely possible that Toho has some other firm that they send stuff out through to copyright claim. It's totally possible. All right. So here we go. And that's what makes this case so disturbing. If someone at KR truly impersonated Toho to remove competing games, it means they didn't just bend ethical boundaries, they shattered them. It's not just manipulation, it's fraud. This seems like ChatGPT language, but we'll carry on. It's playing God with other people's livelihoods and projects, pretending to be a multi-billion-dollar IP holder to destroy competition from behind a mask. Even if this turns out to be partially wrong, even if it was some other form of influence or pressure, the mere possibility backed by the message and that suspicious DMCA sender is enough to make people pause. I agree. But it definitely seems sus regardless. I mean, here's the actual stuff here. So currently at hotel in Costa Rica, we'll message you guys, but not as much. But I want to ask, have you ever seen the license for KR? Yes, and I speak to Toho regularly. Obi isn't the one that does that. KR is the last Godzilla game on Roblox, along with Age of Titans, who pushed out because their scripter left like he does for literally every other game X billion. I got those games taken down, guys. I keep it to yourself. And then here's the actual email from Roblox, sent November 2nd, 2024, saying that this game is flagged for removal from Toho Real Studio. Which, yeah, kind of bizarre. Toho Real Studio is the weirdest part, but like I said, there are third-party firms that take down stuff like this so that the company can worry about, actually making content. So I don't know. I really don't know. But if this is the case, That would be nuts. But I would like to see more evidence before actually stating, yes, this person totally did this and they are guilty. I don't really see a reason to outright blame them for anything yet. I mean, beyond the stuff that they've committed that's in this document, like working with minors and then not paying them. No, I know there's no groups called Toho Real Studios. What I'm saying is there will be firms that Toho hires, and then they'll take down stuff like this. And most of the time, those firms don't speak English as their first language, so they'll just say, like, Toho Real Studio, and then they'll submit it. Like with UMG, like, I've gotten ones where it says, like, Universal's Studio. It's just, it is what it is. So, you could still fight it, obviously, but even then, I would say that, like, something like Kaiju Universe is very much a copyright infringement. You can like that game all you want. I don't care. It's still an infringement of someone else's rights, especially when I'm pretty sure the way Roblox works is that, like, you publish a game, you can profit from it. So, yeah. Let's read a stream for a bit. Or read chat, sorry. So, the Ink Conwan says, just going off topic a bit, will you do a King Kong Ultimate Retrospective like Godzilla, Gamera, and Superman? Maybe. I've talked about King Kong in my big sort of like history of stop motion horror video. I've talked about King Kong and then Son of Kong. Maybe leading up to Godzilla X Kong. I'm not too sure. We'll see for sure, but I don't know. The problem with that is that it's like I'd have a lot to say about the 33 movie, a teeny tiny bit to say about Son of Kong, and then nothing to really say about the 70s one, or even like the Peter Jackson one, which is fine, but I don't know. I've already kind of made my retrospective on the Peter Jackson King Kong movie. So yeah, here's more information, I guess, just about the whole relationship with Toho thing being sus, but there's a lot in here that's bizarre. I mean, the one thing to me where it's like, look, I don't know why you would do this. I might have to do find and replace. Is it here? Somewhere. Yeah. So hiring this person when they're 14 years old, when you're working on a project like this, I just think is a huge red flag. Personally, I would never hire a minor to work on any of my stuff. There's just so much stuff involved with that that's just not used to. There's no point really dealing with it. So I don't know. This seems to me like a massive red flag as is. But yeah, so there's a dev video explaining the whole situation. They reference that here. Let me go back to Facecam. We'll go to YouTube and I will we'll kind of go over it a bit because I want to find that video and talk about it. Well, 14 is a fine age to work at, but that's for like, I don't know, like McDonald's, you know? Like for me, I worked when I was 14. I worked at McDonald's, but I don't know. I think something like this, it's not really appropriate to hire a child to work on something like this at that age. So here we go, I think. Now, Ultimate Gigantic Zilla, are you talking about this video that's posted by GXK? Let me go back to desktop. Is this it? Okay. I just want to make sure I get it right. I want to make sure the audio is correct too. Oh, I use Adobe After Effects all the time. I love Adobe After Effects. My short film body bag, I used After Effects for a lot of it, just because there's a lot of kind of compositing that went into that.
Hello everyone, I'm going to be talking about Kaiju Illusion and concerning...
Oh, hold on. My audio might be messed up.
of the things that went down. Hello everyone, I'm going to be talking about Kaijulution and concerning of the things that went down recently, some new information coming to light. This is coming from a original developer of Kaijulution and of some other games you may know, like Kaiju Antiverse, Kaiju Detected, and others. My name is FG.
Really quick, it's crazy how much of a rabbit hole Roblox is. Like, I have no clue about any of this stuff. Like, I play Fortnite and that's it. Like, I'm not invested in a lot of this stuff. So for me, it's just crazy that they're like, yeah, there's Kaiju Antiverse and Kaiju Detected and Kaiju Revolution and Kaiju Universe. And I'm like, dude, I don't know. I play the game where you get a victory royale and then you do a funny dance.
GX, and here we go. We're going to start the video. Alright, I'm pretty sure you all may or may not know about that one screenshot that came from Ancient of him saying, keep it to yourself about something that he did, taking down the Kaiju games. And I'm pretty sure he did do that because I told Max and he told his server that I actually do know.
Is there any proof of this? Does this guy ever show? Is it just gameplay? Because having screenshots would be really good beyond just someone saying, yeah, so I saw them say this and I heard them say this. I don't know. It makes me not want to watch this video. We'll put it that way.
Obi told me himself that he knows who took down the games in call, and he said it was Ancient, and he wasn't lying that time. And with all this information coming out, it's really pointing towards Ancient taking down these games, and I'm pretty sure it's very likely for him to impersonate Toho. And it's kind of stupid that these games never really investigated who really did it. And I feel like looking at it now, it's kind of a very drastic and exaggerated change for all these kaijus to be
This is a nothing burger again. This person has no evidence. If they had extra evidence, then I would have been like, oh yeah. I don't see anything though. I have no clue. They didn't include any evidence to any of this, so I have no idea what's...
I also helped on some stuff that we brung up for
I don't know. Let's check part 2. If part 2 is a big nothing burger, we'll see.
Hello everyone. This is the second video that I'm going to be talking about Kaijulution and all those shenanigans. And as I said before, my name is FGX, and I've worked on KR before and some other games you may know, etc.
Why is... Yeah, The Promise by When in Rome. I'm like, it's a song from the end of Napoleon Dynamite. This is so weird, dude.
This video is to pretty much just go down with some questions that you may be asking.
I'm going to get the stream claimed. I can't play this, but again, it looks like there's nothing. There's no screenshots. There's nothing to back anything up, and this dude's just talking out of his ass, which, was he a developer? Maybe. I don't know, but... By the way, this guy is true. Again, this is true that Kaiju Universe is totally in violation of copyright. That's objectively true. But yeah, you're right. This is just, I'm going to make things up without any evidence. I just think that this would be better if everyone involved had screenshots to back everything up instead of just saying you did have images in Google Doc, but this person specifically is saying that it's drama explained and then it's them just rambling. That's where I'm coming from here. If there was more to it, they're just saying, oh, they said, he said, she said. It's no, this isn't anything. Someone in chat asks, are you by any chance familiar with the band Queensryche? I love Queensryche. Love Queensryche. I played Battle Line for a little bit. I just got bored by it. I'm not really someone who likes mobile games. I'm trying to think in my life. I got sucked into a few mobile games in my life. I really love Simpsons Tapped Out, which that's gone now. Injustice, the mobile game, was really cool. I haven't played it in years, though. I think that's it. Oh, awesome. Weird question. Was that the Wisconsin State Fair? Because I thought about going to that show, but I ultimately stayed home. All right, really quick. Someone says, so Heisai Edit says, people have been taking this as gospel, but I haven't cared/investigated because I never played Kaiju Universe. Well, that's the thing, right? Is that anytime a Google Doc is published, people immediately take it as gospel, even if the evidence presented is like cropped like this or taken out of context or parts are scribbled out. And it's like, I really think that more people should think critically about this stuff before going out and saying anything that's, you know, damaging towards people's reputation. I really do think that. I think we need to be more critical with this stuff, and we need to actually think things through instead of just immediately seeing, oh, it's an 86-page doc, that means it all must be true, when it's likely somewhere in the middle. I don't know anything about gacha games, and frankly, I'm scared to even go into that rabbit hole. Trust me, this is as deep as we're going today. Trust me. Yeah, Sam's Art. Yeah, I didn't... So you actually worked with them. That's interesting. Yeah, I feel bad commissioning people sometimes, and like if it takes a bit too long, and like ask them like, hey, where is it? You know what I mean? Like, I feel bad about that. So I don't know. I try to treat artists with as much respect as humanly possible. I mean, that's the right thing to do, you know. But I don't know. This whole thing's a shit show. So that is where we're at. I use Blender. I haven't really gotten into Maya yet. Definitely thought about it, but I definitely would need more time to really do a deep dive into it. But Blender, I have some expertise in, a little bit, just for my own work. It's a pain in the ass to sift through this whole doc. You're right, Detective Bellin. I can't wait to never think about this ever again. Well, yeah, Emperor Dalek, I mean, I agree. Like, you need to have critical thinking skills with this stuff, especially when allegations this serious are being thrown around. And I think that just seeing, oh, it's a long document, so it's got to be true, that's not the way to go about it. I don't think so. Just sort of reading chat right now. Ground News. I follow them, but I don't have a sponsor with them. I'm working on a video right now, actually. I had someone reach out to me pretending to be JBL, and they tried scamming me, so I might make a whole video talking about that shit show, because that was really funny. They were from, like, Saudi Arabia or something, and it was just nuts. Like, the whole thing was crazy. Catch you up to speed. Long story short, there's a Google Docie out, and it's not good. And basically, there's a Roblox game, and they didn't pay people involved, but then some of the people involved were fired for justifiable reasons, like dropping the N-word in the Discord server, and then talking about horse breeding, and then this other person was let go because they were stalking someone, and they claimed they were innocent, but no evidence was actually given. And then one of the lead developers on this thing was also a straight up, like, flaming racist. There's lies about them having the Toho license. They had children working for them with very little to no pay. Yeah, it's a whole thing. The document's messy. I wouldn't read through it. I'm going to make a video on this, and I'll just kind of sum up everything. I think that's going to be the way to go about it. Emperor Dalek says, hope you do some more Ultraman-related content in the future. I have a Shin Ultraman retrospective in the works. It's written, I just have to film it. I have been kind of, like, not well in terms of, like, health, so I haven't really been able to record much. So, yeah, when I'm better, then I'll definitely just record a whole batch, because I have, like, 6 videos that I have that are completely written and ready to go. I just have to get them filmed or recorded. Some might just be voiceover only, since that's easier to record. How would you imagine the Evergreen cargo ship would be removed from the Suez Canal? I bet you Superman could probably fly in and pick it up. Beyond that, I don't know why you'd be asking me, big dog. I have no clue. It's a miracle I wake up every morning and don't forget to breathe. Hanna-Barbera Godzilla retrospective. I wrote it and then I hated the script. I filmed it and everything. It was basically ready to go to be shipped out for, to the editor, but I was just like, I hate this script. It just wasn't good. And I'm really struggling with writing that Hanna-Barbera Godzilla video because I don't like it, and I'm not good at writing about stuff I don't like. I'm good at praising stuff that I like. And so when it comes to this, it's like, well, every episode's the same, and it's not really Godzilla, and it's just a cash grab movie. Like that's sort of where it's like that's it. That's the retrospective. So it's hard to kind of do that for about 20 minutes and make it actually worth watching. But yeah, it just needs more. It needs more time to cook because I'm not good at doing the TV retrospectives. That's the hardest thing for me right now. Especially when it's something like Hanna-Barbera Godzilla, where every episode's virtually the same. It's the same formula. It'd be like trying to make a retrospective on Phineas and Ferb. Love that show, don't get me wrong, but every episode fundamentally is the same with its structure. And so it's like, well, how do you talk about it without sort of going beat by beat with every episode or just doing a blanket thing that doesn't cover enough information? It's trying to find that middle ground that I'm struggling with. So... But, yeah, I think I might end it there. So, yeah, let's see. The Gamera video just came out today, so go check that out if you haven't yet. A Gamera versus Gearon retrospective. And, yeah, I'm going to have this video out probably Friday. I'm going to just, from now on, only post on Fridays instead of doing like, maybe a Monday upload and then a Wednesday upload. We're just doing weekly now. So, yeah, I think that about sums this whole shit show up. Thank you, everybody, for watching. And, yeah, I'll see you in the next live stream. When that will be, I don't know. But, anyways, peace out.